It says, sometimes it can be helpful to write an insight in the form of a point of view, a statement, which makes an insight specific to a user or user group. A simpler way to create a POV is through the POV equation. So basically, this is the structure that these sentences would have here, okay? So basically, in other words, this is the conclusions that you will make out of all this analysis that you did starting yesterday. So first of all, we'll start with the user. So for instance, just to give you an example, let's say I interviewed my cousin, let's say, just to give you an example. But let's give him a name. It's Ricardo, let's say. That's the name of this person. So Ricardo, and then I would specify a need for that person, right? So for example, Ricardo needs a service for renting a car when he travels. You see, that is what he needs. He wants that. Ricardo needs a customized service, let's say, to make it more personal. Ricardo needs a customized service for renting a car when he travels, and then an interesting learning, which is like a because or an impression out of that. For example, Ricardo needs a customized service for renting a car when he travels because he likes to have information, or he likes to have records of all the rentings he's made before. You see? So it's like an explanation of the first part of the POV. You see? So it's the user, which is the subject, the need, and then something additional that you believe is interesting to mention. Okay, so basically you guys are going to write down some insights here. Okay, and then when you have all these insights with that equation, let's say with that form, you can basically make a question to yourselves about those insights. So for example, here I could say, how might we design a customized service for people to rent cars? You see? So it's like we make that design question out of this. You see? That is basically what we do here. So the insights and then this design question on the right. And then here, guys, this is something you've made before. You've made some drafts before. So what we are going to do here is to create what they call a visual reminder, which it's basically any sort of graphic representation to show basically this connections and this relations that you explore during the whole section. You see? So in other words, just to make it even simpler to understand, imagine that you are going to represent graphically all the analysis and all the findings that you guys captured during this stage, you see? So you can use different kinds of diagrams like journey maps, Venn diagrams, 2x2, relationship maps, you see? So basically, that's essentially what we're gonna do. You guys are going to represent graphically all the analysis and all these different ideas that you have explored during this stage. Okay, it is basically that. It's not about your project. It's not about your product, your solution. No, it's about all this research process, let's say. That is what you guys are going to put here. You are going to represent graphically all this analysis that you guys have conducted during the week, okay? And this is what you guys are going to share with the rest of the class. You guys are going to present these graphs, and you guys are going to tell us your process. And the rest of us are going to, pay attention, listen very carefully, and also give you some feedback. Okay, that is the assignment for Friday, guys. Have you got any question, guys, about that?
No
Is there any
question, teacher.
question? No question. Okay, so it's as simple as that, guys. With this section, with the 2.3, we'll finish this stage, okay? But this is super important because this is something that we are going to be sharing with the rest of the class on Friday, okay? So that's pretty much how it goes. So this is the assignment for Friday. We are not going to dedicate time during this class to this. So that's why I'm just explaining what you guys have to do with this section 2.3. And just for you guys to remember, this is going to be the very first grade of the third term. So this is something we can evaluate on Friday. Okay, this assignment is for Friday. That's exactly how it goes. So so that's one thing. Also, guys, I just want to remind something. Somebody also asked me yesterday if I took into account this activity with the filter that I asked you to do for the grading. And yes, I actually saved all these screenshots. I mean, yeah, the pictures you guys shared, I saved them all, and then I took them into account also for the grading. Of course, that was not like the equivalent of a homework or like the equivalent of a section of the test, clearly, but that's something, of course, I took into account just to let you know. So, guys, I believe that one of the most serious challenges that we've had during this semester is linked with writing. And the thing is that this is a general English class, even though it's advanced. We cannot focus too much on one single skill. And at the end of the day, what we try to do in this subject, at least, is to provide you with scenarios and activities which are challenging enough for you to explore those skills. That's essentially what we try to do with this. And that is the reason at the end of the day why the university selected a book, back then, to organize the syllabus so that would somehow balance a little bit more the activities and everything. Because I know that in this case, and especially as we are working online, we would expect to have a completely different kind of setting. And some of you guys really want to go back to the on-site classes, face-to-face classes, and some others just prefer to continue this way. And apart from that, we know that sometimes the dynamics are complex. I think we have advanced a lot regarding the use of educational technology, thanks to the pandemic. But at the same time, we are missing certain scenarios. So the fact that we are all working from home also sometimes makes it complex to have access to certain kind of content and resources. And you know that not all of you, I mean, not all of the people have access to the content and to the classes in the same terms. There are some people who've got very good devices and very good equipment, so they can, let's say, consume and make the most of the content very well. But there are some other people who perhaps, take their classes in a cell phone, and that makes it hard itself because you cannot visualize the screen very well. You cannot interact with content very well. So that's something that I'm very concerned about. But I would say that the most important challenge we have had, I mean, regarding skills, is connected to writing. And the problem is that sometimes people have writing issues, not just in English, but also in Spanish. So that's why what we studied at the beginning of this subject, which has to do with how to organize sentences and how to divide paragraphs and stuff like that, that could be the most important thing to learn during the semester regarding writing. And if we focus a lot on that, that's going to make a change. As I said, based on an overall of what I've seen in the test, I think the writing section has improved significantly from the first to the second term. So it looks better, and it's clear that most of you are making an effort to separate your ideas and to organize them a little bit better, and that's something I can absolutely note. And today's lesson is somehow connected to that. We are going to work on the book again, guys, and that's going to be the session 5.1. So I'd like you to please go there. That's the session 5.1, which is called Who Holds the Power? That is the name of that of that lesson. Give me a sec. So we're gonna go to the 5.1 as I said. So. Give me a second. Okay. So guys, just to start with this lesson, I've got a silly question, to be honest. Well, it's not necessarily silly, but chances are that not all of us watch the same kind of content when if I mean either if it's on Netflix or Disney Plus or any kind of service, Cuevana, even if that's the case, we watch different content perhaps. But my question is very simple. It's that if you guys happen to watch any soap operas or TV series these days, if there is this soap opera or this TV series that you guys go like, you really need to watch it. I like to talk a little bit about that. So I don't know, guys. I mean, the thing is, and the reason why I said that this question is a little bit silly is because I assume that just a very small percentage of you guys watch TV these days. This is also one of those big generation changes that we are experiencing that has to do with let's say digital content consumption habits, I would say. And we watch less TV these days. So that's the first question. Do you guys watch any soap operas still? I mean, let's be honest. Do you watch any soap operas these days?
Operas?
Soap operas. You know what that is?
No, like telenovelas?
There you go. I'm gonna just put it on the chat box. There you go. Soap operas are telenovelas, yes, or novelas. The typical novela in the TV.
Yes, I watch a lot of them.
Oh, but
Yes, me
soap
too.
operas.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, like which ones?
I see right now I'm seeing like La Nieta Elegida.
Oh, they say that's a very good one. I have never watched it,
Yeah,
but my mother
really.
and my sister say that's a good one.
Pretty great.
I always watch.
Go.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I always watch the Caracol TV novelas, like
Uh-huh.
every like the most amazing, like for example, I don't know, Pablo Escobar.
Okay.
What other? Diomedes.
Okay.
Rafael Orozco.
Was it in Caracol? I feel that was
No,
RCN.
it was on
Diomedes was in
RCN,
RCN.
but Rafael Orozco was in Caracol.
There you go. Yes, I actually used to watch that with my mother sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it was during the pandemic, right? They were presenting that one. Yeah,
Yes.
it's like that was the second time they presented that one.
Yeah, they present several times the telenovelas like Pasión de Gavilanes.
Oh yeah. And people love it so much. And they said that there's going to be like some sort of a second season,
they are
right?
filming the second
What the hell?
season in Villa de Leyva right now.
Okay, there you go. That's really funny. Okay. But still, guys, and you know what? It's like, this is funny because some people would feel guilty if they watch soap operas because they feel that that's silly, you see? So they would say like, no. And especially men, we tend to be super silly about it. And we say like, no, I don't watch soap operas.
But the men are the one who see the most telenovelas.
It's possible. I mean, it's very possible. Absolutely. In my case, it's like, I don't like them, to be honest. It's not like I feel guilty or something, but it's like, I like to watch a different kind of content. But yeah, I mean, they are super popular. And for instance, my father, I know he loves soap operas. There we go. So it's like, I get it. But when we talk about TV series, not soap operas, but series, that's different. People feel actually proud about some of them, and they really want to talk about that all the time. So it's different. So basically, I'm not an expert on this, but the format of soap operas and TV series is very different, right? It tends to be very different because the seasons, I mean, soap operas don't actually have seasons. To be honest, it's like they got almost like big chapters or something like that. So it's like I don't know, Pasión de Gavilanes. I remember that was super long. I mean, and that's something that happened with soap operas back then. They would last like years, you see. So they would be super long, and they don't necessarily have seasons. So it's like they start and hundreds of thousands of things happen, lots of drama and stuff like that, and then they finish, and that's it. But in the case of TV series, it's different because the seasons they do have seasons. They tend to be not. I mean, depends a lot on the TV series, of course, but they tend to be not that long, and they quite often and pretty much always leave the whole story open for a next season, right? So when a season finishes, you know that there is a season coming. So that's different. So the style is very different. And also, guys, something to highlight about soap operas and TV series is that I don't know if it has happened to you, because this is a reflection I've made earlier, a different day, but it's like sometimes we want to watch something, so we turn on the TV and we've got Netflix or something, and we say, I want to watch a movie, for instance, but you say, the movie is 2 hours long. I don't know. I prefer to watch a series, and then you watch one episode, and then 2 episodes, and then 3 episodes, and you might end up watching 3 hours of the TV series, even though you said that the movie was too long because it was 2 hours long. You see? So that has to do a lot with the consumption habits we have. That's like some sort of anxiety that tells us that we prefer to watch short fragments, and we prefer to consume a lot of short fragments than to consume one big movie. That's the reason why TikTok it's popular, you see, because that TikTok basically is the evolution of YouTube somehow. It's a different kind of platform, of course, I know, but sometimes, I mean, people don't want to watch a video for 2 hours, so they switch to YouTube. So they watch 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes videos. But then there are some people who prefer TikTok, as they will watch just some seconds videos. So that's interesting to see. And I would say that that's connected with our habits regarding the kind of content we consume. New generations watch less TV, and that's one of the reasons, you see, because they don't have control over that. They just turn it on, and then they have to wait for whatever is showcased there. So I don't know. I just would like to say that this is something very interesting regarding the way, that's evolving, and how our habits regarding the consumption of that have changed. But now, guys, I'd like to ask you about names of popular TV series or soap operas, if that's the case, in English, that you guys believe that everyone must watch. So for that, Valeria, please. But those of you, as Valeria is talking to us, I would like you to think about that TV series in English, or soap opera in English, if that's the case. I don't know, that you guys say, you really need to watch this. Please put it on the chat box, but make sure that this is a public message, that you don't send it just to me, because I want the rest of the people to see it. Okay, so Valeria, please.
Yeah, I will highly recommend, of course, Friends, How I Met Your Mother, and That 70 Show. That 70 Show, for me, is the best. Brooklyn 99 also. They are, I think I improved my English because of those TV shows, like for real.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I agree with all of you, with everything you said. Friends, I really like it. It's not my favorite, but I really like it. How I Met Your Mother, super like it. There's one season which is not that good, but I really like it. And by the way, guys, that talking about vocabulary, that kind that kind of Oh, situation comedy. That kind of TV series has got a specific name, you know, like How I Met Your Mother, like Friends, like The Big Bang Theory. That has a very specific kind of name when we refer to a TV series which is light, which is fun. There you go, Daniel. It's called sitcom, you know, which is the acronym for situation comedy. Okay, so that's a specific kind of TV series, sitcoms. So sitcoms are always good. They are always a good plan, you know, when you want to just relax and watch something to have fun. Sitcoms are the way to go. So yes, I also highly recommend watching those. And Nicolas mentioned one of my favorite TV series ever, Black Mirror. Wow, you really need to watch it. It's super, super crazy, but it's very interesting as it basically depicts modern society in some sort of deviation uh, of technology. You see, so that the whole series is pretty much about that, about the role that technology plays in our lives and how that makes very serious deviations of our society. So this is really interesting because it's terrifying sometimes in most of the cases actually, but also at the same time it makes you think about the way we consume technology and about the way we give technology importance. So yeah, the Black Mirror, you really need to watch it. Brand new cherry flavor. I've heard about that. I've never watched it, but I've heard about that. Doctor House, it's a classic, right? Um, so there you go, guys. There you go. We've got some really interesting suggestions here. And yes, I agree with Valeria. Watching these kinds of shows really, really helps you improve your English. It's like to just play it clearly in English with subtitles in English, ideally. That's a very good level. That's a very good training for sure that you can make right there. So guys, that's it. That's what we got. Let's see. So guys, we're gonna start with this very first exercise, which has to do with precisely one TV series which has been super famous. So we'll see the context. So guys, what they say here is that we're gonna read the quotation from a political drama set in Washington, D.C. and discuss these questions with your partners or with your groups. I will open the breakout rooms. You can work with whoever you want, and we're gonna answer this. According to the speaker, which is more permanent, money or power? That's the very first question. The second, why might the prefix MC have a negative connotation? Okay, that is what we are going to do. So we're gonna read this quotation from this political drama and try to answer these two questions, okay? That is the very first thing we are going to do. Then, once you guys have done this, we're gonna jump to the exercise 2.A, and then let me see. I don't know if I should. No, let's do just number one first to have some context, and then we're gonna jump to that one. So guys, I'm gonna open the breakout rooms now. I'll open 12 groups. Ah, there we go. Okay, guys, so we're gonna go over only the exercise number one, and we're gonna have 5 minutes for that. Then I'll call you back, and then we're gonna have a look at that here. Wow, Valeria has shared something, I mean, golden stuff over here, and I don't know why I'm not surprised. This is a Russian website. They always have this kind of thing. I love them. Thank you very much indeed, Valeria, for sharing that. Okay, guys, so let's go over the exercise number one, and then we're gonna come back here, okay? Let's go. Okay, guys, welcome back. So this initial activity, I would say it's pure gold regarding vocabulary and and idiomatic expressions. So I really like these two questions. And this is something that I also discovered myself very recently. So perhaps that's why I'm a little bit excited. So guys, help me answer the very first question, which is, according to the speaker, which is more permanent, money or power, based on this, guys? Based on this. Yes, Felipe?
Well, teacher, based on that, well,
Mhm.
I think that is just not based on that, but every part in the world, I think that the
Mhm.
power is permanent because well,
Mhm.
even if you die, even if you lose everything, you are gonna still have power. But the money is
Mhm.
like go and come. Is like in
Yeah,
that way. So you can have a lot of money, but tomorrow you can lose all your money. So it doesn't make
that is
sense.
true.
But the
That is true.
power, you, for example, if I have power today, I will have power in 100 years.
Potentially, right? So yeah, that's essentially what they want to say. They want to say that power is permanent somehow. That's why they say. But what makes a bigger difference here, and I mean the essence of the difference, and the essence of what they want to say here of a message has to do with the second question, which says, why might the prefix Mac have a negative connotation? So that has to do with this prefix, the meaning. So it says here, guys, money is the Mac mansion in Sarasota that starts falling apart after 10 years. That is extremely powerful. And just for that sentence, one should watch this TV series, because I haven't watched it myself, but pretty much most, I mean, I don't know, the vast majority of people around me, they said, you really have to watch it. So guys, what does it mean if I mean, when we say this, money is the Mac mansion in Sarasota, you know what that means, guys? The use of that prefix, the prefix Mac in this case? No idea on that?
Mass produced.
No. I mean, what does it imply? If we put the prefix Mac with that MC right before something, what are we saying actually? Not sure about it.
No, teacher.
Well, basically, when we use the prefix Mac, and I'm really sorry that in this moment, I don't have the answer for why is it like that. But the prefix Mac means poor or cheap, you see. So if we say Mac mansion, we are talking about a cheap mansion. It's a mansion, yeah, but it's, it's not a big deal. So it's not that luxurious actually. So if you say money is the Mac mansion, so it's like the whatever mansion in Sarasota, you see? So when we use that prefix Mac before an object, we are basically saying that that object is just cheap or poor, and even if it perhaps looks expensive, actually it's not a big deal, you see? So it is a way to say that something is cheap. Okay, so that's why I believe that that's the essence of the whole quotation. It's right here. Money is the Mac mansion that money is the Mac mansion in Sarasota that starts falling apart after 10 years. Power is the old stone building that stands for centuries. I cannot respect someone who doesn't see the difference. That's what he says. So that's the point. You see. So basically, he is using the figure of two kinds of buildings or structures, right? And he says that power is like that old stone building, that ancient building, like the pyramids, let's say, which is building out of stone and stands for centuries, while the money is just like that Mac mansion in Sarasota, which after 10 years starts falling apart, you see? So that's the figure that he uses here, and it's extremely powerful. I really like it. So guys, what we're gonna do now is to read a part of a review of a recent book on power and answer this question. So this review, it's about that concept itself, about the concept of power. So basically, what we are going to do, is very simple. First, we're gonna read, of course, and then we're gonna try to answer these two questions. Who are the superclass and why are they so powerful? So we're gonna answer those two questions. And then when we finally answer those two questions, we're gonna find words or phrases in the review relating to money and power once again. Okay, so those are the two things we're gonna do. Read the text, answer these two questions, and find words or phrases which relate to money and power, which is this concepts we are balancing. Okay, so we're gonna go over the exercise to A and to B, and we're gonna have 10 minutes for that. And then when we do that, we're gonna come back here and we're gonna review a topic that you guys already know about, but I'll see if you guys exactly remember how that goes, because this is a topic which is key for writing decent texts. So that's essential. So let's go, guys, really quick, and I'll see you back here in 10 minutes.
Teacher, do you know the name of the movie?
Of the movie? Which movie?
The one that is in the quotation.
Oh, no, it's a TV series which is called House of Cards. House of Cards. It's super, super, super recommended. I mean, I haven't watched it myself, but the reviews are just incredible. And it's all about this topic of power and power and money all around politics in the United States. So it's highly, highly recommended.
I recommend the first two chapters. I already watched the first two, and it's really good.
There we go. So I'll actually look for that because I've been trying to start watching a new TV series, and I have tried to start with comedies. And actually, yesterday I watched the first episode of Seinfeld, which is one of the most popular sitcoms ever. But I didn't connect. I somehow felt, I don't know if I'm too young for this, because that series is old. It's older than Friends. I mean, way older.
Vis-a-Vis is the
Vis-a-Vis.
best series ever.
Okay, so nice. I've got some really good recommendations then now. But yeah, I really want to start watching something new, although my books say, no, you need to read. But anyways, thank you guys. So let's go. We're going to open the breakout rooms then. And I'll see you back here in 10 minutes. Let's go. Okay, guys, welcome back. So we've got a lot to check here. So I'm positive that we're going to learn lots of vocabulary and expressions here with this. So guys, talking about comprehension, just comprehension. Let me see. Let's try to go over the very first question that goes, according to the text, who are the superclass? The text is super explicit regarding that mention. So guys, according to the text, who are the superclass? I know you know, by the way, and I know you're listening to me, just in case. Yes, Valeria.
Yes, teacher.
Oh, Valeria and then Lina, please.
Okay.
I believe it's the people that have the ability to influence the others.
That's for sure one of the characteristics. That is for sure that. Yes, Lina?
Well, according to the text, the superclass are like a few people that can control the rest of the population around the world. So they can control over the rest of the population.
There you go. Just to keep in mind one thing, you know that there are lots of words in English that in which we see the verb and a corresponding noun, which are written exactly the same way, but the pronunciation changes. You gotta be careful, guys. When we say control, we refer to the noun. So the control, you see, the control of influence. But if you want to refer to the verb, we need to stress the last syllable. So it's not control, but control. See? So these people control the rest of population in the world. And they actually are specific regarding more or less how much people we're talking about, right? There is a number, right? So
Yes, around 6,000 people.
6,000 people, 6,000 people. So in general terms, they would say that this is like 6,000 powerful people who control the other 7 billion of us. You see, so there you go. That they are who we could call the superclass. I've been doing, you know, guys, in the previous weeks, I've been doing something which is very painful, I would say. For some reason, I discovered this YouTube channel in which this guy, he's French, he presents the best and most luxurious houses in Bogota and nearby towns. So it's like, you know, these penthouses and mansions, they are just so beautiful and incredible. And, you know, if you want to buy one of those, you really need to have money. So that's when you see, I mean, when you see how you live, how that super class lives, and also how people who've got less resources also live, you see that contrast, you see, and that's essentially why we can have this kind of figure. That's why we can say that there are more, like around 6,000 people controlling the whole world. So that's what they say. But okay, apart from that, I mean, we sort of understand who they are, but a question now would be, why are they so powerful? So guys, according to the text, what do they say about why this superclass is so powerful? What would you say? Why is the reason why these people are so powerful? Yes, Felipe, please.
Yes, teacher. Well, just for the fact that there are like no common people, but the problem there is that they are like CEO, they are have all the power because they have a lot of money, they have a lot of company. Well, they are in charge of everyone because for that reason, because not only is like a employee, but are the most important person in a company, like that kind of things. I think so.
Yeah, that's true, Felipe. That's absolutely true. And that takes us to the next part, which is what they mentioned here in the book. Look, when they say in the text, they say members of the superclass are immensely wealthy, which is basically what Felipe said. They were educated at the world's most prestigious universities and share an impressive capacity for networking. That word is really important here, the networking capacity they have. So basically, this superclass, this extremely rich people, they have more in common among themselves than with their fellow citizens, clearly. So if we see a person who's like super rich here in Bogota, for example, that person would have more in common with another super rich person in New York than with any other people in any other person in Bogota, you see? So they live at a completely different level, and that has to do with networking. So it's like, and this is very important, guys. This is what I'm going to tell you. Recently, I watched this TikTok video, which was very interesting because it presented a concept from sociology that I don't completely remember in this moment, but it was all about why. I mean, some people say in the video, there were some guys in the Tecnológico de Monterrey in Mexico. They were in a class, but they were completely distracted. So they were just checking their cell phones and everything. And then a guy said, like, you paid a lot of money just to go there and do nothing. I mean, that's the quality of education you receive. Like, you pay a lot of money in the semester, a lot of money, and then you go there and just don't do anything. And what this guy was explaining, the other guy, the one who created the video, is like, not really. When you pay a very expensive university, you are not paying only for the quality of education, you see, because you can have very good instruction, very good teachers in different kinds of universities, different kinds of profiles of universities. But when you pay a very expensive semester, let's say, you are not paying only for the quality of education and facilities and resources, but you are also paying for the access to privilege. You see, you're paying for the access of privilege, and that access to privilege is connected to networking, by the way. So when if people who go here to Andes, yeah, they get a good quality of education in general, of course, that's one of the best universities in the country. But apart from that, as they access that privilege, they also get to know other people who at the end of the day are like them, you know, they get to know other people who've got good economical conditions, socio-economical conditions, and that networks, and that networking, I'm sorry, it's what keeps this classes going, you see, because that's when they get to know each other, and perhaps they can start new business ideas and stuff like that. So networking is somehow one of the keys to understand the essence of this superclass, you know, according to the text. Networking is really, really important. And how those rich people, you know, they get to know each other. So that's very important. But apart from that, guys, let me see if I can find it, because there is some vocabulary, and I'd like you guys to help me find those words that you would say, wow, I don't understand this. So let's try to look at those words, that vocabulary that perhaps could be more challenging, because I don't know if this allows me to, come on, to, oh, come on, no, to look for the text here, the function for control. Oh, come on, I cannot find text here. So anyways, guys, is there any word, any expression that you say, I don't understand that? Yes, Valeria?
Yes, teacher, can you scroll down? I don't know, there is. Become wary of giving. What is wary?
Okay, where is it? I'm like super lost. I can't.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to down and up. Yeah, and the
Okay,
end of
it
that.
seems national governments have become wary of giving up authority to international bodies which could oversee and even control the actions. Okay, so basically, when you become wary of someone or something, it means that you don't trust that or him or her completely. So to become wary is not to trust very much. You see, like them, you don't really trust them. So what they say here is that national government, let's see the whole context. It says, but more importantly, the power of the superclass transcends borders. You see, and that has to do with what we were saying before. It transcends borders. Its members have more in common with each other than with their fellow citizens. This characteristic makes this group immensely powerful. It seems national governments have become wary of giving up authority to international bodies which could oversee and even control the actions of the super class. You see, so what they say is that, well, this super class is super powerful and they got influence. And their influence transcends borders. So it's not like this person is powerful just in Colombia. No, they are powerful, but they got this huge networks. And then they say, it seems that the national governments have become wary of giving up authority to international bodies. So it's like the governments don't really trust the international bodies because they know that the super rich people have influence on that. You see, that's basically what they say. So it's like, as they know that this super class could have influence on these international bodies, they have become wary. They don't really trust their international bodies because of that reason, because they know that the super rich people could influence their decisions. Do you get it?
Yes, teacher, thank you.
There you go. So that's basically it. To become wary is not to trust something completely. So it's like you are not sure, that you got some doubts. Okay, let's try to look for more words that perhaps we don't know, guys. This is a classic, I'd say. Philanthropist. You know what a philanthropist is, right? I might say. So I don't know if you guys have questions about that one. A philanthropist. No? Yes, no? Let me see.
What is the meaning of the one that is highlighted? The wealth they have accumulated.
Well, it's this expression just has to do with money. So the wealth has to do with all the resources and assets people have. So that has to do with money and property. You see, so yeah, they refer to that. The wealth they have accumulated, it refers to all their money and all their, you know, the money in their accounts, but also their assets. And by the way, assets is what we call un activo, no? Assets. So an asset could be a house, a car. Those are examples of assets. So that's essentially what they say here. Let me see. I'm looking for words myself because I know that there might be other expressions that could be somehow complex, but I'm just double checking. Well, I would say this is the essence of it. Then, guys, we're expected to do some filtering of words and phrases related to money and power. And I like to know if you've got that list. Do you know that list of expressions, or words that are related to money or power? So Valeria has got her hand up. I don't know if it's this. Okay, there you go. Give me a sec. So guys, some words just to give you context of that, so we don't take forever there. So these are some of the words that have to do with money and power. So regarding money, guys, we've got words like economies, banks, financial, purse strings, right? Wealthy, billionaire, wealth, economy. Those are some of the words in the text which are related to that. There you go. In the case of power, well, of course, we got superpower, control, knowledge, infiltrate, bring down, superclass, powerful, influence, authority, and oversee. That's a very interesting word that you guys haven't mentioned about anything about that one, and that has to do with oversee. To oversee is like to supervise. Okay, it's just for you to keep in mind. To supervise something, that is what oversee means. Okay, guys, have you got any question, any doubt about this vocabulary and expressions and everything? Nothing? Okay, guys. So, well, this is something, as I said earlier, this is something that you should remember somehow, and that has to do with relative clauses. This is something we had explored before during this semester, and you may remember something like this explanations here. It says that identifying relative clauses can be used to identify who or what we are talking about. Non-identifying relative clauses provide additional information. In an informal style, we can often replace who, whom, or which with that in identifying relative clauses. This has become an influential organization that works across international boundaries. You see? So, so basically, when we talk about relative clauses, we are talking about this dependent clauses. It's parts of sentences that identify who or what we are talking about. And that's essentially what they mention here. So basically, guys, what we're gonna do here is to read the grammar focus box, this box here, and complete these examples with underlined phrases in the review. So we've got here 1, 2, I think it's just 2 that we have. I don't see any other. Oh, I know we got more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, we have 4 different phrases, and we're gonna see how these phrases somehow fit these options. Okay, so I'm gonna just give you around 5 minutes more or less just to complete this with the examples, and you guys read the definitions of each one of the cases, and then we are going to explain that and see if you guys have any sort of question regarding this grammar focus. Okay, so this one we're gonna do it individually if that's okay with you guys, and then in 5 minutes we are going to check it all together. Okay, guys, so let's do that. Let's try to have a look at this and let's see how that exactly works. This might be a little bit more challenging. Okay, guys, so we essentially have 4 different cases. That's what they refer to here. And talking about relative classes, this whole exercise is all about how these different classes connect and how we use certain prepositions for doing that. Okay. So what they say here, guys, just as context, they say that in an informal style, we can often replace who, whom, or which with that's in certain clauses. Like this has become an influential organization that works across international boundaries. And that's pretty much what sets the tone for the rest of the exercises. So guys, the very first example they describe here is that we can drop who, so we can eliminate who or which or that when they are the object and not the subject of the following verb. So remember that when we refer to object, we are referring to that thing or person, right, that complements the key verb of the clause, right? So there is a verb, and this object is something which is affected by that verb. But by subject, we refer to what we are talking about, basically, not something which is affected by an action or the action itself, but the one that performs an action or the one we are talking about. So guys, what would be the sentence that corresponds there, or the phrase that corresponds to the first one?
A group of new growing economies working together.
Madam, no. It sounds like, I know, but that's not the one that goes there. Let me tell you that. So it's a different one. It's not that one. Any other guesses, guys? No? Is there any other option that could work there, perhaps? Don't know about it? Let me help you then. So what goes there is this one. The wealth they have accumulated. And why is that? As you can see here, guys, we could include that, right? The wealth that they have accumulated, right? But basically, the reason why we eliminated is because wealth, it's the object, right? So they have accumulated wealth, the superclass, they have accumulated wealth. So as we are reporting this in a completely different order, in this case, wealth, it's an object. So as this is the object of the sentence, we can eliminate that. You see, so we can say this in two different ways. They have accumulated wealth, or the wealth they have accumulated. But of course, when we change the order, the objective of the sentence is absolutely different. The object of this clause, I mean, it completely changes, because if we say the wealth they have accumulated, we know that we are talking about something else, you see? So that's why we eliminate that. We could still leave it. We can leave it. We can say the wealth that they have accumulated, and that would be absolutely right. But remember that in English, we always tend to economize words, let's say. So if we can say the same thing with less words, that's the way to go. So that was the first one, guys. In the second, we say, we sometimes leave out who or which or that, and the corresponding verb, right, is, are, was, were, before present and past participles. So we just eliminate them. This is sometimes known as a reduced relative clause. So what would be the one there in the second one? What would be the clause here in the second example? No idea? Well, that is the example that, I mean, that's the idea that Ana Maria gave us right before. A group of new growing economies Working together. A group of new growing economies working together. In that case, if we just leave it complete, that would be a group of new growing economies that are working together. So this is similar to the previous case, but in this case, we are eliminating not just oh, I just forgot the name of that. Come on, I just forgot it. You see, I just forgot it. Well, we can eliminate both that and the verb here, the preposition, I'm sorry. We can eliminate the preposition and also the verb. As once again, if we say a group of new growing economies that are working together, that is absolutely right. But we can also reduce it in those cases. If you guys are not sure if you can really reduce it, you can leave it like that. But as you can see, we can use less words. So a group of new growing economies that are working together, we just eliminate that and are, and it becomes a group of new growing economies working together. You see, that is how it goes. Then it says in informal language, look at this, in informal language, this is very important. In informal language, prepositions generally stay in close combination with the verb, adjective, or noun, even if this means they are separated from the object. So we say this kind of thing a lot. This is very, very, very common in informal language, especially in speaking. The world we live in, the place we come from, you see, the place we are going to. So we always complement the verb that way, even if it's separated from the object, you see, because in this case we say the world we live in. So the world and in are separated, but still we put that together. However, in formal language, the preposition can go before the object. So that being said, guys, which would be the number 3? This is very easy. This is the easiest, I'd say. No idea?
Which means they come.
No. It's pretty much.
Okay, or it's which.
Excuse me?
With.
Okay, it would be pretty much like that. The world in which we live. The world in which we live. You see? So here we have a very interesting contrast of the same expression both in informal language and formal. So if we are writing, guys, this would be the best way to put it. The world in which we live versus the world we live in. You see, this is more common. This structure would be more common in speaking. And in general terms, this, well, we tend to be economically in English all the time, but these kinds of changes also obey, different kinds of context and registers. So in this case, if we are talking about formal language, it's better to put the preposition before the object, just like this. So this is a very interesting contrast, as you can see. And then the last one says, guys, it goes after common words for time, when is often dropped or replaced by that, like it was that, it was the year that the government passed the tax law. You see, this can also be dropped or replaced by that, where, after, somewhere, everywhere, anywhere, nowhere, and place, in which after way. So like the CEO didn't like the way in which the media reported the situation, or the CEO didn't like the way that the media reported the situation. So we have these two options. And the last one now says, which, but not what, can refer back to a whole clause or large section of text. So which, guys, would be a very important device we can use when we want to, let's say, reintroduce or refer to a big part of the text. So the best example there, guys, of course, is the only one we are missing, which means they can breach security security and bring down governments and bring, oh, come on, bring down governments. You see? So basically that's particle itself introduces a whole chunk of text. Okay, guys. So my recommendation just for tomorrow would be just to check the grammar reference in the page 150. I believe this topic is not that hard, but when we understand exactly how this works, that's going to have a very big impact on your writing. So tomorrow we're gonna finish with this, and we're gonna be doing other activities which are somehow connected, as well as this task by the end of a class. So guys, if that's okay with you, I need to talk to someone here. So I'm gonna call the attendance right now, and then you guys are free to go. Okay, so I'm gonna call the attendance. Then I'll stay with a person who's waiting for me to check something. Oh, and that would be it. So guys, have you got any question, any doubt or anything before I call the attendance?
No, teacher. No, teacher.
Okay, great. So let me see. I'm gonna just do this really quick. Okay. Okay, guys. Gerson Aurel,
Present, teacher.
Tatiana Álvarez, Laura Arias,
Present, teacher.
Laura Vanessa Bermúdez.
Good morning, teacher. I'm here.
Hello. Ana María Buendía.
Your teacher.
Andrés Felipe Bueno.
I'm here.
Camila Ulla.
Good morning, teacher.
Hello. Erika Corredor.
Good morning, teacher.
Hello. Michael Cortés.
I'm here, teacher.
Tatiana Espitia.
Good morning, teacher.
Valeria Fontnegro.
I'm here.
Miguel Ángel Forero. John González. Melissa Goyes.
Present.
Ashley Huesa.
Here, teacher.
Diego Llano.
Here, teacher.
Daniel Machuca.
Good day.
Mr. Johannes Martinez.
Present.
Nicole Martinez. Nicolás Medina.
I'm here, teacher.
Dara Monroy.
Present, teacher.
Alexander Mutis.
Present, teacher.
Camila Navarro.
I'm here, teacher.
Magdalene Ojeda.
Me, teacher, present.
Nilan Paez.
Present, teacher.
Diana Palacios.
Here, teacher.
Lina Rodríguez.
Present, teacher.
Natalia Rodríguez.
Here, teacher.
David Torres.
I'm here, teacher.
María Alejandra Triana.
Present, teacher.
Angie Valero.
I'm here.
Diana Baloyes.
Good morning, teacher.
Good morning. Okay, guys, that's it. So as I said, I'll stay